Congratulations, YouTubers, you survived Comic-Con. This is going to be my breakdown of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer they aired. So, probably the most comic book thing in a weekend full of comic book stuff. So all the movies that Marvel brought to Comic-Con, they're still working on. Doctor Strange is the only one that's pretty much done. Like, they're probably finishing some special effects for that. But of all the movies that are still in production, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the furthest along. So naturally, they had the most footage for that. There were really like two different parts of footage that he showed off. So it wasn't like two trailers, but there was a highlight reel, then there was a more traditional type of trailer, just as a way to show you where all the characters are and how much crazier things have gotten. It's really turned into like a $200 million Rick and Morty episode. It's so amazing, you have absolutely no idea. Like, think about the Captain America movies. Like, Captain America Civil War had a lot of comic book things in it. It had Spider-Man holding Captain America's shield, talking about Empire Strikes Back. That was like the peak comic book moment this year for me. Next year, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to blow that away. So here, just to break down exactly what the footage was. We pick up with the Ravagers. That's the group that Yondu controlled in the last film. They have since revolted. So like there were a bunch of Ravagers that they brought to Comic-Con. So like they revolt against Yondu. You see Baby Groot and they have to organize a prison break. And it's all about Baby Groot getting Yondu his fin back. So for those of you that said that Yondu in the first movie wasn't comic book Yondu enough, they are going full comic book in this movie. Like Michael Rooker came to Comic-Con in full makeup with the fin on. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's kind of plasticky looking, it glows, and it allows him to control his arrow. So like in the last film, he was whistling to control the arrow. The fin itself just does that in a much more visual way. So there was this scene where Baby Groot gets his fin back, like steals it back from the Ravagers. Yondu uses it to take them all down. The Ravagers make jokes about Baby Groot. They put him in this tiny, like little adorable Ravagers uniform. So you have like dancing Baby Groot wearing a tiny uniform. He's super pissed about it. But then as Yondu starts killing all these people, Baby Groot actually selects one Ravager, uses his plant powers to like reach out and throw him off a balcony. So one of the funniest parts of the footage was watching Baby Groot brutally murder a Ravager. So why is he still a baby, you ask? Well, I'm sure there's a lot of merchandising reasons, but they use it to their advantage. Like as part of this prison break, he can get in and out of really tiny spaces. So there's this funny montage of him bringing back all these wrong items when he's looking for Yondu's fin. He comes back with a prosthetic eye, and Rocket Raccoon is like, even though it's the wrong item, it's not the fin, he grabs it and is like, this is gonna be so funny, he's gonna wake up and not know what the hell happened. So if you wonder why Yondu is part of the Guardians, he's not part of the Ravagers in the second film, you can see how they've revolted and that drives him to the Guardians. So like, he has this connection with Peter. He's kind of like Peter Quill's adoptive father. So Yondu will just be traveling with the Guardians for most of the film. The Ravagers themselves are kind of an antagonist, and that theme continues. So they revealed Elizabeth Debicki's character. She's playing the Kismet character. She's like the leader of this genetically perfect race. So she hires the Guardians to save them from this interdimensional beast, but things go completely off the rails. So she winds up being something of an antagonist too. We see Sylvester Stallone's character. That's right, Sylvester Stallone is in the movie. He's one of the he's wearing a Ravager's uniform, but they didn't reveal who he is. So what I think is going to happen is he'll be like a super deep cut from the comics that'll make you scream in the movie theater without necessarily tying him to future films. Like he's not going to be Adam Warlock or something like that. It'll be like a Howard the Duck type Easter egg. Like, oh my god, that's a huge character. But like Howard the Duck wasn't super critical to the plot of the movie. He was just a really cool Easter egg. Speaking of which, Adam Warlock's cocoon was a big Easter egg for the movie. I'm going to talk about Adam Warlock and how he's kind of in the movie without actually physically being in the movie. We see the Guardians having a really funny argument about fighting this interdimensional creature. Peter Quill, like a big portal opens up in the distance and Peter Quill's like, "Showtime, assholes." Peter and Rocket are yelling at each other and Peter calls him a stupid raccoon. He gets really offended and Peter's like, "Sorry, I meant trash panda." Fingers crossed that they release some merchandise with Rocket Raccoon that's just labeled as Trash Panda. But then we get the big reveal of Star-Lord's father. So just careful for spoilers if you don't want to know about Star-Lord's father, because it is a super deep cut from the comics. So they're walking through a forest, and then this very Adam Warlocky cocoon descends. It looks like an egg, and out steps Mantis and Kurt Russell, wearing, this uniform. Peter Quill's like, "Who the hell are you supposed to be?" And then Kurt Russell's character's like, "I figured my rugged good looks would make that obvious. My name's Ego, and I'm your dad, Peter." All the Guardians shit their pants, it gets really awkward, but then they take it right back by doing the math about how he could possibly be a living planet and be Peter's father. He explains that he's a living planet, but he made himself a human body. And then probably the funniest moment in the trailer, Drax is like, "Wait, you made yourself a human body. Did you make yourself a penis?" And then, everybody starts throwing up in their mouths. And then completely unfazed, Ego's like, yes, Drax, I've got a penis. And Drax is like, thank you. So if in 2016, peak comic book is Spider-Man in a Marvel movie holding Captain America's shield talking about Empire Strikes Back, then next year, The Guardians talking about the penis of a living planet will be peak comic book. So just to tie it back to Adam Warlock, so like a lot of people were like, maybe Peter Quill's father's Adam Warlock because he has the soul gem in the comics, and Peter Quill would have to be part ancient in order to be able to hold an Infinity Gem. So a lot of people were like, okay, well, there's just like a few people that could be, so Adam Warlock was just the biggest candidate. So while it turns out that Ego is his father, which is way better in my book, it's a way deeper cut from the comics, I think visually, you will see a lot of Adam Warlock Easter eggs in Kurt Russell's character. So even though James Gunn changed a bunch of stuff from the comics, he found a really funny way to keep all that stuff in the movie. So they don't really explain the mechanics of how Star-Lord's father made himself a human body, how his powers work, so I think that's going to tie into the Soul Gem. I just feel like it's so weird and there's so many big, crazy, like interdimensional beasts that they have to stop in this movie that it demands the presence of a Soul Gem, which is why I think the Time Gem is what's going to be showing up during Doctor Strange. Because even in the Doctor Strange trailer, the Ancient One is like, I have been searching all of time for so long looking for you. So the concept of time is very important to the Doctor Strange movie, but the Guardians movie is mostly about family relationships. Now yes, on a really simple level, James Gunn said it's all about Baby Groot and Star-Lord's father, but really it's about family relationships. So there's going to be a lot of awkward family comedy, like Yondu's former family, the Ravagers, turn on him, so he seeks a new family in the Guardians. Peter Quill finds his father. You also meet this race of genetically perfect people that are a bunch of assholes. So thematically, the movie is telling you, that it's all about the family that you choose for yourself, and being perfect is not important. Like, you don't have to be perfect. So the film will be really easy to, thematically, it'll be really easy to follow. You could take your grandma to it, even if she has absolutely no idea what comic books are, she would totally love it. So that is part of the magic of James Gunn. I feel like he's one of the best comic book auteurs working in films today, just because he has such a deep understanding of the comics. Like, he is a lifelong comic book nerd, but he also has a really strong vision, and he's a writer. So you tend to find that the best comic book movies come from directors that also write their films, that also have a lifelong history with those characters. So James Gunn is just one of those directors that makes such awesome movies that I don't even care what they're about. Like, even if it wasn't about comic books, I would automatically say, shut up and take my money. Like, another good example is Joss Whedon, someone with a really strong vision that writes all of his stuff and directs it. But mark my words, next summer, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be peak comic book. There's a whole bunch of really awesome comic book movies coming out next year. Like, Wonder Woman is going to be amazing. Gal Gadot is going to be fantastic. But Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be the most comic book of all comic book things next year. More fantastic than the penis of a living planet. I want a t-shirt of Ego the Living Planet with text that reads, "My penis is fantastic." I would totally wear something like that around in public. So let me know, what do you guys think about what you've heard about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 so far? Like, you've seen the look of the Ravagers, and even though James Gunn has said he's not releasing the footage, you will probably see all this stuff in November when Doctor Strange premieres. They'll probably attach the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer to that. He was like, yes, I know when the trailer is going to drop, but I can't say yet. Like, they can't reveal it, but they typically attach big trailers for future movies to other big Disney movies. So just expect to see a whole bunch of Guardians of the Galaxy stuff later this year in November. But giveaway time, there's a new round of the giveaway that's going on right now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. There's still a couple Marvel videos that I want to get through, but like the DC TV shows are doing Legion of Doom next year on Legends of Tomorrow. There's a couple more trailers I need to get through, so I'm going to try and post all that stuff at least by the end of Tuesday. So there's still a whole bunch of stuff coming. If there's something that I haven't done that you guys want me to do a video for from Comic-Con, just let me know in the comments. It was such an awesome marathon this weekend. I was really happy with Comic-Con. Marvel did an amazing panel. My next video will probably be Planet Hulk Thor Ragnarok, because they showed off Hulk's armor during Thor Ragnarok. They actually brought it from the set of the movie. So Hulk is going to be awesome Gladiator Hulk in that movie. While you guys wait for me to post that, you can click here for my breakdown of the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, and you can click here for my breakdown of the Game of Thrones Season 7 teaser. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.